Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's time to go over all of that good stuff leaving Hulu at the end of the month, which thankfully isn't a whole lot. So let's get into the best movies that are leaving. I will tell you, I'm gonna have a link for the full list because it's just too much to cover everything, especially when I don't care about it. I figure you can run through the list, you can look at it, but I know if this video was like 20 minutes long, no one would click on it anyway, so let's get into it. A Life Less Ordinary is a wacky-ass comedy crime thriller that stars Ewan McGregor as a man who kidnaps Cameron Diaz to hold her hostage, but then, like, they fall in love, and I guess they're like angels helping them? I don't know. It was a weird movie, but it was made by Danny Boyle, in case you want to go through his filmography. The Graduate is a classic drama that stars Dustin Hoffman as a young man fresh out of college who begins an affair with a married woman played by Anne Bancroft until he ends up being set up with her daughter, which also makes this sound like a very wacky movie, but I have to say, this movie surprisingly holds up so many years later. It's crazy. This is such a fantastic film. If you haven't given it a shot, take the time, watch an old movie, eat your veggies. It's worth it. Trust me. Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are the two Christopher Nolan Batman movies that people actually like, and I'll go ahead and throw out my controversial opinion. I actually prefer Batman Begins of the two. Don't shoot me through the comments, but these movies are probably going to HBO Max, but in case you have no interest in getting HBO Max, you'll want to watch them before they're gone. Thelma and Louise is one of my favorite 90s gems. This action dramedy thriller stars Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon as two best friends who head out on a road trip that turns into a crime spree when they shoot a man who assaults one of them, and they begin robbing stores and stealing cars and doing all kinds of fun stuff to try and get away. And it's a very interesting and well done movie. This won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for a reason, directed by Ridley Scott. I mean, this movie's just fantastic. You gotta watch Thelma and Louise. Lady in a Cage is a 60s thriller that stars Olivia de Havilland as a woman who becomes trapped in her home elevator when a bunch of hoodlums break into her house. Wayne's World 2 is a comedy sequel that follows the continuing adventures of the SNL besties as they try to put on a rock concert. Constantine is a comic book adaptation that stars Keanu Reeves as a demonologist fighting the forces of evil. And I remember this movie was not very well received, but people also still seem to be desperate for Constantine shows and movies, so hey, watch it, it's there. Universal Soldier is an action movie from Roland Emmerich that stars Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren as two soldiers brought back from the dead to be super soldiers, like in some action movie plot. I don't know, it sounds cool. The Chum Scrubber is a suburban crime dramedy that follows a group of teenagers who kidnap a younger kid to hold him for ransom, but then things spiral out of control. It's kind of Alpha Dog light, but I remember liking this movie when I saw it. It has some interesting themes and ideas, and it's very 2000s. What can I say? Mutant Species is a 90s horror thriller about a rocket containing biohazardous material that crash lands in a wooded area and infects a man and mutates him into some sort of monster creature. Then people gotta track it down and stop it, of course. I haven't seen this, but it has the absolute worst ratings, so it sounds like my kind of garbage. Slums of Beverly Hills is a coming-of-age family dramedy that stars Natasha Lyonne as a teenager living with her family of nomads in Beverly Hills, California in the 1970s. Soul Food is a drama about a family that is torn apart when their matriarch is hospitalized for diabetes. And I just remember as a kid, I saw a brief scene that I just thought was so sad, it scarred me. It was a hospital scene. I was like, oh no. And I haven't been able to take it, but I should probably go and give it a watch before it's gone. Tamra is a 2000s revenge thriller that's like a mix of Carrie and I Spit on Your Grave, but without all those unsavory elements, thankfully. Jenna Dawan stars as nerdy Tamra, who is murdered in a teen prank that goes wrong, but she comes back through the powers of witchcraft as a seductress who begins exacting revenge on her fellow classmates by picking them off one by one in classic horror movie fashion. I remember this movie making a bit of a splash when it played in the festivals and came out on DVD way back in the day, but I didn't really care for it, but I'm willing to give it a second watch to see if the hype was worth it. Definitely don't watch I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, because I did on the 4th of July, because I love this trash horror movie, but they have the edited for television version on Hulu. How does that make any sense? Why? It's pointless. If you like this movie, maybe you'll want to watch it anyway. It's kind of funny because it's like the version that I grew up with watching on the Sci-Fi Channel, but I was like, no, I'm an adult now. Give me that R-rated goodness. But whatever. Hulu, this is me lodging a formal complaint, calling the manager. Can we please not have edited for TV versions of things on the service? I would just love that. Freddy vs. Jason is the ultimate slasher movie mashup that pits horror icons Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees. Who needs a plot with this much gore? This one is leaving, which is a bummer because it's a favorite of mine. Hopefully it's going back to HBO Max, but Freddy's Dead is also leaving, and I just recommended these in my what to watch video for Hulu, and I'm like, damn it, they're leaving. Of course, every time, every single time. Well, guys, that is the list. Again, you might want to check out that article just to pick out a few other titles. I know Tank Girl is one of them, but I just wanted to take this moment to say that I've been doing these videos for a while. It's all about trying to get the best recommendations to you at the best times. And, I haven't done the other services this month, and I might not really do these so much going forward just because they sometimes can be so much work for a video that honestly matters for maybe a week by the time I've uploaded it. And a lot of people don't really get to my videos until well after a week after they're uploaded. And it's a bummer. Maybe I'll regularly leave, the leaving articles in my videos on like what to watch on every service. But the whole point was I wanted to be able to use this opportunity to talk about movies that I like and be like, oh, really you gotta check out Thelma and Louise before it's gone. But this is like the third time this year I've talked about Thelma and Louise leaving something, like Kill Bill, and like all these movies that you just keep bumping from one to the next, and it's like I'm just talking about the same stuff, shuffling around, and it's just not really the best use of time when I could be reviewing things or putting together other list videos for you guys. But of course, let me know in the comments below what you want to see here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you made it this far. I greatly appreciate it. Hit those comments. Let me know what your favorites are. I'd love to hear those. Like this video. Share it with your friends if you would. I'd greatly appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel so I can wow you with all of these wonderful videos coming. But that's it for this one. But I won't stop you from watching another.